All right, we're going to do the 4.1.3 quiz slope. Um, we're going to use the checkup problems, just like we've been doing. First thing we're going to talk about direction and positive, negative, undefined, zero. So we read slope, and I've talked about this a little bit last section when we were doing the constants and stuff. Um, if they're increasing, decreasing, or constant, is we read a graph left to right, just like we read a book left to right. So as I go left to right, does the graph increase? And now on my screen here, the orange, I'm not considering the graph. That's technically like the Cartesian coordinate plane, right? It's just like where we put everything. The graph is what I'm saying is the blue lines. All right, that's the graph of the equation, maybe is a more proper way to say it. But if I just say the graph, I'm talking about specifically the line that we see. All right, so if I go from left to right and it goes up, just like we have here, right? It goes up here. That is a positive slope, right? That's easy. Left to right, it goes down is negative. If I have a straight vertical line, perfectly vertical, that's undefined. All right, so that's undefined. And if I have a perfectly horizontal, that's 0. All right, so perfectly horizontal means this no slope has a 0 slope. Perfectly vertical is undefined. Going up from left to right is positive. Going down from left to right is negative. So that's just the general direction and what we would call them. Now the slope formula, as we have written here, is sorry, let me fix my screen so I can get my hand right. There we go. There we go. This is my slope formula. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So it's rise over run. Rise is vertically, right? I rise up and down, which is the y's. And then I run. I don't run up and down, right? I run kind of flat on the ground. And that would be your x's. That's horizontal. All right, so calculating the slope. How we're going to do this is we need to label the ordered pairs x1, y1, x2, y2. Doesn't matter which one's x2, y2, which one's x1, y1. No, it doesn't matter. I don't care. So I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to randomly label this one x1, y1. All right. Now I'll actually do this both ways. So x1, y1. Actually, I'm going to do something different just to kind of clean it up. Is I'm going to have x1 equals -1. I'm going to have y1 equals 2. Then I'm going to have x2 equal 1 and y2 equals 4. And if you actually have this, if I actually had this on a piece of paper, I would just label the x1 and y1 underneath. It just kind of looks sloppy on this. And maybe it's the green. I'll try a different color next problem. But I just label x2, y2. Now the key is I can't have like an x1 and a y2. That would just be inconsistent, right? So the numbers need to stay the same. It didn't matter if I made the 1, 4 the x2, y2, or if I could have made this the x1, y1. That doesn't matter. Just remember that every ordered pair is always in the form x, y. So x's always go first in an ordered pair. All right, so come back here into my slope formula. I'm going to go ahead and write it down. I have slope equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now, what is y2? y2, I already have is over there 4, minus y1, which is 2. Then I have x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is -1. Now, I have a negative number. Whenever I have a negative number, I'm going to put parentheses around it. So parentheses, -1. And that's important. Anytime you have a negative number, put a parentheses. 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus -1, that's going to be 1 plus 1. That's going to be 2. So I have 2 over 2. So 1 is my answer. My slope is 1. I'm going to do the exact same thing for this other problem. I'm going to label this one x1, y1. This one x2, y2. I'm going to take the formula. The formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, is equal. What's my y2? Well, my y2 is a -3. It's a negative number. I'm still going to put parentheses around it. minus y1. Well, y1 is 5. Then I have x2. Well, x2 is a negative 3, so I got to put parentheses around it again. Minus x1. Well, x1 is 1. Negative 3 minus 5 is going to be negative 8. Negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is going to be a positive 2, and that would be my slope. That's it. Right? And, right, as I read these graphs left to right, as I go from left to right, the graph is going up. The red line is going up. As I go from left to right, the graph is going up. So these positive slopes make sense. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Apologize. Oh, there we go. Sorry. A little bit of a mistake there. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So this is going to be x1, y1. We're going to have x2, y2. All right, so I have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, what's y2? y2 is 6. Minus y1, well, y1 is 7. x2 is 3. x1 is 1. 6 minus 7 is going to be a negative 1. 3 minus 2, or 3 minus 1 is going to be 2. So my answer is just a negative 1/2. Sorry. Get a little OCD there, like my negative sign out front. So I negative 1/2, right? And as I go from left to right, this graph is going down, so it makes sense that it's negative. All right, I'm not going to do the question for you. You guys can go ahead and do that one on your own, just to test it. Now, I think I'm actually done. I'm going to do maybe one more example here, but I just want to talk about rate of change. They're talking about rate of change. What does that mean? Slope. Rate of change just means slope. It's just another phrase to talk about slope. So if you ever see rate of change, they're asking for slope. So how would I do this problem? I would just take the two order pairs they give me, and I'll calculate the slope just like I did for the first 3 examples. Now down here, they give me the order pairs without a graph. That's fine. I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do question 9. I want to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Then I have my formula. I'm going to go ahead and just write it on the... There we go. So we have m equals y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Well, what's my y2? y2 is 7 minus my y1. y1 is at negative 14, right? So what do I got to do? I got to use my parentheses. x2 is negative 3, negative, so I got to use my parentheses, minus my x1, which is 25. 7 minus negative 14 is going to be a positive 21. Negative 3 minus 25 is going to be a negative 28. So I got 21 over negative 28. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this and put the negative sign out in front. And now 21 and 28, what I can do with that, this isn't necessarily the topic, but I'll just get a refresher. What we do here is 21, I have 1 and 21, if I'm getting all the factors, and I have 3 and 7. Then 28, I have 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 3 doesn't work, and then 4 and 7. Well, they have a 7 in common. So this is really 3 times 7, and this is a 4 times 7. And I can cancel that 7 out. So what I really have is a negative 3/4 as my slope.